I just had this moment where I went, like, I don't think you're supposed to be doing this. I don't think this is normal behavior. I don't think this is like just like the 20 something behavior that you keep trying to like pretend that it is. And and I had that moment because I was like, my parents drink. My parents are okay with me drinking. I could go downstairs and have a drink if I wanted to instead of like pre-gaming up in my room by myself before I go out to a bar with my friends. But I also knew that my parents would be alarmed if they saw the amount that I wanted to drink and that I could drink. And so that's why I was hiding upstairs in my room. And and I just had this moment as I'm drinking raspberry vodka out of a shoebox, of going, I don't think this is, I don't think this is normal behavior. I don't think this is what 20-year-olds are doing. I think alcohol for them is a want, and I think alcohol for you is a need. I distinctly remember having that moment. And then my next thought was, no, because what would that even mean? Like, that's crazy town. So, no, you don't have a problem. Like, what does a problem even mean? How can you be having a problem with alcohol? I don't know. It just seemed, it feels like it would blow up my life if I said, you have a problem with alcohol. I can't drink. It is like, what? No. So instead, I went, you're being too hard on yourself. You're being crazy. Just chill the F out and go party with your friends. And so I did. And throughout my 20s, I kept having that thought. Every once in a while it would pop up. Through this time, I meet my husband. Now I meet him. He's my boyfriend. He sees things that he doesn't like with my drinking. He's noticing things. I had friends say things to me. My family would say things to me. But every single time I would go, no. These are just people that don't understand. Whatever excuse that would pop up into my head, it would be my reason for excusing the behavior. And I stuck with it. But when I would just be silent and with myself, those alarm bells would be going off. And I would be going, I think you have a problem. And I would do things like get on the internet and search, how do you know if you're an alcoholic? Or I would take the quizzes, like there's online quizzes. But then every time like I would get the answer, they'd be like, I think you have a problem. You should speak to somebody. Here's a number that you can call. And I'd be like, what? No, like that can't, I filled something out wrong. That cannot be what's going on here. And so I just kept ignore. Get married, and about 3 years into my marriage, my husband is about done because he has seen this entire thing blowing up. I'm living with him. He's my husband, so he can see how often I'm drinking and how I do not have an off switch. I just go and go and go and go and go and go. It was just like I could not consume enough alcohol once I started. It was really bad. So he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I've tried and I can't. And I pretty much begged him to stay and said, but we were going to try and have a baby. Like, why don't we try and have a baby? I'll stop drinking because we're going to try and start a family and I'll stop. And please. And so that's what we did. I stopped drinking. Like a few weeks later, we started trying and I got pregnant like that. And throughout my pregnancy, I did not drink. I was in love with being pregnant. I loved everything about it. I went full on hyper focus, learning everything that I could about pregnancy. I felt amazing. I loved it. I loved learning everything that I possibly could about pregnancy. I wanted to have a natural childbirth without drugs. I wanted to do everything to the whatever degree, because that's just how ADHD rolls. I remember thinking too during my pregnancy, thinking, see, I'm not an alcoholic. An alcoholic wouldn't be able to do this. An alcoholic would be drinking during pregnancy. An alcoholic wouldn't be able to stop because they would be an alcoholic. So they would just keep drinking. So clearly you're not an alcoholic. It was just not true at all. And it came back to bite me in the butt as soon as I could start drinking. Have my baby, nursed my baby. My baby would not sleep through the night and would not take a bottle. He started sleeping through the night when he was 11 months old. And right after his first birthday was when I got sober. And during that month is when I lost complete control. It started off with like some holiday parties where I went off the rails and was drinking way too much. And then it just kept going and going. It just got so bad. I started to do things like okay, well, I'm going to have one glass of wine tonight. So I'll buy the bottle of wine. I wouldn't keep anything else in the house. And then I would dump out all of the wine except for the one glass. And then that would be my one glass that I got to have that night after I put my son to bed. But then I'd have the one glass. And then I would be like, well, now you have to have more. And so then I would drive the like half a mile down to Total Wine and buy another bottle or more. And then I would come back and then I would drink that as fast as I possibly could so that I could get to bed at a reasonable hour to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning when my son got up. It was insanity. It was insanity. I would go to bed at night in those last couple weeks. I would go to bed at night completely wasted. And I would look at my husband and I would sob. I would just have tears running down my face. And I would go, wake him up right now.